Hello, everybody, and welcome to Nathan on Shuffle and to my latest episode here. And I'm hoping this is probably just a quick episode. I just wanted to briefly talk about an experience I had that I think's related to many people's interests on this channel. Whenever I do something that's in the prog world, I want to give my accounting of it, give you guys my thoughts and impressions, and just have an outlet to be able to talk about the fun things that I experience as I go about my day-to-day life. So I was able to go see Dream Theater this past week, and it was an excellent experience. Really loved the live performance. I've talked on here at length about my feelings about concert going and how, as a person with anxiety, it sometimes can be difficult for me. But this was a really nice experience that ticked all the boxes of what I'm looking for, and made for a comfortable experience for someone who sometimes gets a little overwhelmed by the energy of a live performance like this. But so this was on February 19th. It was at the Yaamava Resort and Casino in Highland, California, which is actually about a half hour away from where I live here. So wasn't very far at all. I took my dad to this concert, so we went out to dinner before the concert and then drove in together and found our seats. I purposefully kind of got seats a little bit farther back because, my dad's a little bit older, so he doesn't like to stand for a full concert. So I try to find seats that I'm pretty confident we won't have a lot of people standing in front of us, that we can kind of sit, just enjoy the experience washing over us. And I know there's a lot of controversy about that because I've been on a lot of different Dream Theater forums and Reddit threads and all that kind of stuff, and people sometimes are kind of dismayed at how American crowds are a bit too laid back. They don't have enough energy, and it's just not as fun of a show for the band and for everyone else when they don't have this kind of bigger energy and stand through the concert and interact more with the band and with the material. But for me, I'm a different kind of concert goer, and I just like to kind of sit back and be impressed by the musician's performance and just let the music kind of wash over me and to enjoy it from that perspective. I'm not really someone who actively gets up and dances to the music and headbangs and does all that kind of stuff, sings along and whatnot, claps along. But I respect and appreciate people who do love that, and I think that energy can provide a lot of great fuel to the performances on stage. So I'm not decrying anyone's type of experience that they like to have. To me, the perfect balance is having a floor crowd who can stand and have the more energetic experience because that's what they're desiring, and then a crowd in the background, either in a balcony setting or just in a farther back seat, that can enjoy the concert from a more seated position and just kind of lay back and let the music wash over them and enjoy it from that perspective. So you kind of get the best of both worlds, because I think both concert experiences, especially for this style of music that's more complex and has a lot more depth to it, that I think those are both valid experiences, and it's great when a concert can have both and service both things. So but aside from that, that's, I probably didn't need to delve too far into that, but we got into the concert, got to our seats really easily. And, there was a pretty funny, colorful character who sat next to us that talked to us before the show started, talked about his Ozzy Osbourne cover band that he was really excited about. So that was fun. My dad's a musician, if you haven't heard me talk about it before on the channel. So they had a lot of common things to talk about. But yeah, once the band started, it was really exciting. I hadn't seen the band for quite some time. I was trying to nail down when I last saw them, and I think it was back probably around the time of Dramatic Turn of Events. I'm guessing they were touring that album, because I remember hearing Breaking All Illusions on that tour. I went to see them with my dad in LA, I believe. With Mike Mangini on drums, I believe so. But, that was quite a while ago, so it's been a while since I've seen Dream Theater, and especially, of course, since seeing Mike Portnoy being back with Dream Theater. So a lot of fun had there seeing Mike Portnoy back with the band. I thought it was really excellent. I thought musically they were pretty much flawless. To me, the clear standout was John Petrucci, who just is on another level with his guitar playing. Some of his soloing was just mind-blowing. The whole intro to Hollow Years that he performed was just stunningly beautiful. I thought Jordan Rudess had a lot of fun sections. I love his setup and how he does all these kind of technological things with his keyboards and all the soundscapes that he presents. Definitely flawless and just perfect in his realm as well. John Myung always holds down the bass perfectly well. A lot of people complain that they can't hear him well enough in Dream Theater music, and I think that's a compliment to John Myung because he plays so well and so interestingly that you want to hear it more in the music. So definitely kept up to pace with everybody, had some cool standout moments. And Mike Portnoy, I think, fit like a glove. His feel, his groove is just unparalleled. He's just a fantastic drummer. I felt like he was maybe a little bit more subdued than I've seen him in other concerts. Perhaps I think that's probably a conscious choice. He doesn't want to take attention away from the group at large. But he still was excellent and did everything that he needed to support the band and bring his flavor and flourish to their sound. So everybody was on point. There, I didn't hear a wrong note really throughout the whole proceeding. It was just like note perfect, and they had so many great flashy instrumental sections that they showcased all their abilities, and it was just a lot of fun. I loved spoilers to some of the songs they performed if you don't want to hear that, but I'm going to be talking about it, so... Stream of Consciousness was a highlight to me. Vacant going into Stream of Consciousness from Train of Thought album. I thought it was an incredible instrumental leading into Octavarium, the big epic, which is absolutely a stunning epic. My dad got really excited during Octavarium. He's not really as well versed in Dream Theater as me, so he wasn't really aware of that song, and he told me after the concert that he was surprised by how progressive that track was, that they did full-on progressive rock. He's not as much a fan of the metal. He comes with me and enjoys the experience and live shows in general, but he's definitely not really a metal fan, but he tolerates it because he likes the more progressive rock passages and things that they do, so that was a really big highlight for him especially. And my dad had listened to the new album in preparation for this tour, this concert. I kind of had to break the news to him because he was really loving the new album and told me all his favorite tracks from it. He really likes Spin the Clock, and he really loves Broken Man and the big epic at the end. And I had to tell him, they're not really going to play a lot from the new album here. They're probably going to tour the new album at a later date, later in the year. But this is more celebrating their 40th anniversary. So unfortunately, he wasn't able to hear a lot of the new tracks he was really digging from the new album, Parasomnia. But they did play Night Terror, which I thought was fantastic and fit into the set perfectly. And they played Midnight Messiah as well, which was a fun, energetic track from the new record to put out there as well. And, I haven't mentioned it yet, but I want to talk a little bit about James LaBrie and his performance. I know there's been a bit of controversy about his vocals and how they may not be holding up, and that he may be the weaker link of the band perhaps, but I thought he did really well here. I was really impressed. I felt like at the start, especially in Metropolis Part 1, that he was struggling a bit with the vocals. He has to kind of adapt the vocal lines to fit his current state of his vocals, because he can't hit kind of the high notes that he used to hit on those Images and Words tracks. So it was a little bit jarring at first, and I was like, oh, I'm not sure I'm going to love what he's doing here. And he was ill not too long before this concert. He had to, I believe, cancel one of their concert dates a couple of days before, maybe a week before or so. So he even said to the crowd that he was recovering, wasn't quite 100% back, but was going to give his all in this performance. And I think he did, and he steadily improved throughout the night. I think he struggled a bit on those older Images and Words style tracks and had to kind of adapt the vocal lines to fit his current voice. But there were moments where he just did a really excellent job, especially on the newer tracks. I mean, Night Terror just sounded pretty much perfect like the record to me. I thought he sounded great on Octavarium all the way through. So he definitely had some great spotlights. That Vacant track, This Is the Life, I thought was beautiful from him. So when he gets into a specific range and has this certain vocal timbre and quality, it really is great and beautifully done. But I won't hide the fact that he was struggling on some of the notes on some of the older tracks and some of these other things that were going on. But like I said, maybe at first I was a little bit thrown off and a little bit worried, but as the show went on, I got used to it, and He was just another great facet of the group, and he brought a lot of energy to like being a great front man, interacting with the crowd, and bringing a lot of fun in that respect as well. So just a fabulous time all in all. I had a lot of fun here, and there were moments, like transcendent moments, where I was just like so happy to be a Dream Theater fan and to experience one of my favorite bands at the peak of their powers. It's pretty remarkable this far into their career that they're able to perform this high level. You know, they're many of these guys are seemingly at the peak of their instrumental abilities, even though they're kind of in an older age. So it's really inspiring, and it's really great that they're still out there and still excited to put out this material. Hopefully Parasomnia is the first in a string of many new albums with Mike Portnoy back in the fold, and that they'll do many more tours and concert experiences, because this was just a fabulous experience all in all. Loved hearing Barstool Warrior. That was a cool surprise to hear a Mangini era track from the band. Loved the nod to Metropolis Part 2 with Overture and Strange Deja Vu. That was really exceptional. I talked about Hollow Years was one of my favorite moments. They really extend it out and do some really cool instrumental stuff there, but it's really poignant and beautiful and a great respite from all of the heavier tracks around it. Some of the more single-oriented, harder tracks really hit hard and did well, like Constant Motion and As I Am and A Rite of Passage, just really perfect. I love The Mirror as well from Awake. I thought that was a really excellent moment. It was really well-structured and well-paced. How I think Mike Portnoy has a big piece of that, how he puts together a set list, and I thought it was put together extremely well. The encore was maybe... I wish there was something a bit more exciting on the encore. We did get The Spirit Carries On and Pull Me Under, which are two of the kind of their signature tracks, so they kind of have to be in the mix, so it makes sense, but I would have liked to hear kind of a surprising track. I believe they've played Home at other concerts on this tour, which would have been really cool to hear Home, because that's one of my favorite tracks from Scenes from Memory, but they didn't do it for this concert. But all in all, it was just a fabulous experience. I mean, my dad came off of it extremely happy and having felt really enriched by the music, and already talking excitedly about what next concert opportunities can we go to now. So that's always the goal. That's how I bond with my dad, is going to concerts together. And this was definitely a bonding experience and something we'll talk about far into the future. So hopefully you appreciated this little concert review, a little look into my experience. Let me know in the comments if you've seen Dream Theater recently on tour, how you felt about the experience, or anything you want to comment about what I've talked about here, about concert going in general, and my few reservations about it. I'll probably be back on with Jana later in April to talk about our experience on Cruise to the Edge after we go there, so that should be fun. But I just thought I'd mention this, so hopefully you guys appreciated this little off-the-cuff video and are having a great time out there enjoying the music. So thank you guys, and I'll catch you guys hopefully in future episodes. Bye everybody!